So guys, I have a pretty big announcement before this video starts. In yesterday's video, I said if it broke 3,000 likes in 1 hour after the video went up, I will start myself a new main clan on Clash Royale. Now, you guys didn't quite do it, but you almost did it, and in my head, I realized, I was like, why am I setting you guys such like a big like goal just for a clan? So, I'm basically going to give you guys another chance, and this is going to be a lot easier. So if you're watching this right now, I'm going to give you guys watching, when this video breaks exactly 1,000 likes, as soon as this video breaks 1,000 likes, I will tweet out on my Twitter page, which is on the screen now and in the description. I will tweet out the name of the clan, and it will be open as soon as this video breaks 1,000 likes. This video breaks 1,000 likes, and on my Twitter, I will announce what the new clan's name is. So you need to go to my Twitter page, follow me so you know when I tweet the name of the new clan, and so you guys can obviously join early. And I'm going to give you guys a chance to actually name my clan, because I have no idea what to name my clan. I have no idea in mind whatsoever. So basically, the most liked comment on this video, in the comment section below, one of you guys just needs to type in a bunch of comments. Just type in like what I should call the clan, and obviously if your comment gets the most likes, I will call the clan whatever the most liked comment. I will have to make the name of the clan whatever you guys said. So just leave a like, leave a comment, and now just enjoy the video. What's up guys, and welcome back to another Clash Royale top listing video. And for today's video, I am bringing you 6 cards that have revolutionized since the beginning of Clash Royale. So in other words, we'll be taking a look at the troops and cards that have got their features or just looks in the game changed since when the beginning of the Clash Royale game just came out. If you want to support this video by leaving a like, that will be greatly appreciated. And finally, let's get into the list. Number 1, the Ice Wizard. So yes, a lot of you will not know this, but at the beginning of Clash Royale, the Ice Wizard looked pretty much differently to what he looks like right now. Here you can see the early stages of when the Ice Wizard just came out, and you will see a few differences straight away. Comparing him to the Ice Wizard that we have right now, this Ice Wizard has longer and more sticky up blue hair compared to the Ice Wizard that we have now. The Ice Wizard that we have now actually has his hair more back, but this Ice Wizard used to have his hair more up, and it used to be a lot more spikier than we see it nowadays. Also, if we take a look at his fur coat, you can see that his fur coat in the earlier stages was actually blue, and his belt was actually brown. However, if we look at the newer stages of our Ice Wizard, you can see that those two colors are completely switched. So basically, the Ice Wizard's fur coat and the belt actually switched colors. The coat used to be light blue and now it is brown like the belt, and now the belt is actually light blue and used to be brown. Other than that, the Ice Wizard looks the same and he performed the same as he does nowadays, but just a little bit of a difference change here. We can see that Ice Wizard's hair is different and his clothing. What also makes this change interesting, this is actually a legendary card nowadays in Clash Royale, and before in the earlier stages of Clash Royale, the Ice Wizard was actually called an Ice Mage. Number 2, the Freeze Spell. So yes, another ice or freezing card basically got another feature change. If you guys didn't know, here is the differences between the old Freeze Spell and the new one that we have right now. So clearly, if you are looking at the old Freeze Spell, you can see that it's basically a radius of a light blue circle, and it looks kind of like an ice rink to me. I don't know why, but it reminds me of some sort of ice rink. You can see that it's light blue, it has some snowflakes going around, and it's kind of like a frosty little circle radius with a few cracks in the ground while the ice is covering it. Take a look at this Princess Tower. With the freeze spell that we have right now, the freeze spell would turn the tower white and it would have a lot more snow around it. Meanwhile, this freeze spell that used to be in the old Clash Royale stages, you can see that it only turns it slightly a bit more blue and adds more of a frosty effect. And now if we take a look at the new freeze spell that is updated, you can see that it's a lot more snowy than just light blue and icy. You can see a lot more just snow patches everywhere. You can actually see a lot more snowflakes around it also. You can clearly see that the newer freeze spell turns stuff a lot more frozen than it actually did back in the day with the old freeze spell. I definitely think this change was for the best, and it definitely improved the freeze spell's looks. Number 3, the Barbarian Hut. Yes guys, the Barbarian Hut actually did have a different look to it, and on the screen here, you can see this is exactly what the Barbarian Hut used to look like, and not only this, it was actually called the Walking Barracks. Yes guys, the Barbarian Hut was actually called the Barracks, and it actually did spawn barbarians in the very early stages of Clash Royale. You can see that it's kind of facing forward instead of tilted to the side. You can also see a rack of swords and a target practice with some arrows stuck inside of it next to the left. Another thing that you notice is it looks a little bit smaller than the Barbarian Hut that we see nowadays, and in the new Barbarian Hut that we have nowadays, we actually see an elixir tank sitting next to the hut hut, which means it could probably just produce barbarians from summoning the elixir inside of the barrack. Meanwhile, with this one, we have no elixir tank sitting next to the barrack. Also, if you take a look inside of the barrack, you can see that the lights are on, making it visible the troops are summoning and are training within the barracks. This is actually a pretty interesting change because a lot of people actually hate spawners, and yeah, this is basically a change for the spawners, I guess. In my opinion, I actually like the look of the old barracks or Barbarian Hut, however we want to call it, better, just simply because it looks a little bit more realistic. It has a light inside of it, making it look like there's actually troops coming out of it instead of just like randomly coming out of a black exit. But however, it is actually Supercell's decision, so I can't really do anything about this. Number 4, the night. On the screen here, you can see an image that Clash Royale put on their Instagram, and then they said this is basically what the earlier stages of the test build of Clash Royale looked like. And if we actually look over at the right hand side of the battle arena, if we take a close look at the knight, you can see that he actually has a lot more stuff that he has right now in the game. You can see that he is holding his sword in his right hand instead of his left, and it also has a little bit of a golden bell at the bottom of the sword. You can also see that he has some sort of metallic shoulder pads on his shoulders, which actually protect him more in battle. I don't know why Supercell removed this. I just think that this knight looks a little bit more better in the older stages, but changes do happen. But this is exactly what the knight looked like in the very early stages of Clash Royale, and he does look a little bit more dull in color. If we're taking a look at the knight nowadays, he actually looks a little bit more vibrant and colorful, meanwhile as the suit and armor on the old knight actually looks a little bit less vibrant. By this I mean that his clothing on the bottom underneath his armor is actually less blue and less red than it is nowadays. He also has something to do with his armor around his collar, and I'm really not sure what it is, but I'm just guessing and assuming that it's part of his armor and also his shoulder pads. Yet again, another pretty big change that Supercell have decided to change into the game, which basically just transformed the card into a new one that we see nowadays in Clash Royale. Number 5, the Golem. I'm sure you all know this if you played Clash Royale back in the day. Around 1 year ago, the Golem actually got his first look change. This is actually what the Golem used to look like in Clash Royale, and you will see compared to the newer version of the Golem that we have nowadays, it is a really big change. So if we look closely at the old Golem here, you can see that his rocks aren't even like as rocky as they are in the new Golem. It kind of looks like his rocks are kind of slate, and they're really not messy, they're just all in one line. But the Golem that we have now is a lot more grey and has a lot more like crumbling rocks. Another big change that Supercell decided to change is that the old Golem actually has some sort of spiky red dog collar. Now I'm really not too sure why they added a dog collar in the Golem. I mean, maybe it could resemble some sort of dog story or origins to do with the Golem, but in my opinion I think that the collar actually looked pretty cool on the Golem back then. Also, if we take a look at the back and spine of the Golem, you can actually see that he's missing all of the red and blue crystals that we do see nowadays in Clash Royale. So yes guys, there actually was no crystals or anything on the back of this Golem in the olden days of the beginning of Clash Royale. As you see nowadays, we have either blue crystals on the Golem's back if you are placing the Golem, or if your opponent is placing a Golem, you can see the red spikes for the red team. Personally, I think that the crystals were a great addition simply because they had crystals on them in Clash of Clans, as it would only be fair just to make it suit Clash Royale also. And if you guys notice, there's actually some sort of glowing orbs around the crystals on the Golem's back in the new one that we have. So if you're placing the Golem and it has the blue crystals on its back, you will see some blue glowing orbs around the Golem, meaning that the crystals are some sort of magic crystals, and there's orbs obviously absorbing it, meaning that the crystals have some sort of magic. And back then the Golem was really plain, it had no crystals, no glows, just a simple dog collar. That's basically all the Golem had back then. Again, probably one of the biggest changes to a troop or card in Clash Royale. Number 6, the Royal Giant. Yes guys, believe it or not, your beloved card, the Royal Giant, actually did get a feature and look change in the earlier stages of this game. Here on the screen you can see the old stages of the Royal Giant, and I'll tell you guys this right now, the Royal Giant used to be called the Royal King. You can see that he was a lot smaller than we have the Royal Giant right now, and I could see that he definitely multiplied in sizes. And if we take a look and closer look at him, you can actually see that he kind of does resemble a Royal Giant. You can see he has some kind of crown on his head, obviously it's called the Royal King, and the Royal Giant actually does have a small crown on his head if you guys didn't already notice. This Royal King guy also does have blue facial hair for some reason, but you can see his face looks exactly like of a Royal Giant. His eyes and his nose look like the Royal Giant. Apart from the fact he does have a mustache, he also does have a small little beard. And another thing that makes him look even more like the Royal Giant is that he actually has the boomstick of a musketeer, and obviously the Royal Giant does carry a cannon now, but obviously in the earlier stages Clash Royale and Supercell were thinking just to add a boomstick to him. Obviously without remembering the fact that they could just add the Royal Giant, they multiplied him in size, obviously making him a giant, and then they took away this puny little boomstick and instead they gave him a big cannon which he now shoots cannonballs out of, dealing a bunch of damage to enemy towers. Also, this Royal King does actually have some sort of pink fur coat on. Now I'm not sure what this is supposed to resemble, what team he's on, but I'm guessing it's the blue one because of his facial hair. And also this actually has to be my favorite one on this entire list. I don't know about you guys, but I found this one really interesting. That the Royal Giant, something really like overpowered that we see nowadays and something really big, was actually just like a small musketeer looking troop with a little crown and a little boomstick. And with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for today's top listing video of the 6 cards that have been transformed since the beginning of Clash Royale. Hope you guys all enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys learned something new about these cards. So next time you're using one of these cards, just keep in mind and remember what these cards actually used to do and what they actually used to look like, especially the Royal Giant. Again, make sure to drop a like so that I can start my new clan, guys, when this video breaks 1,000 likes. Hopefully you guys all managed to enjoy this video. For the final time, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.